Welcome to EVE Online, I'm Major Freak. Just a random aside. That's a really long jump there. Back in the day, back during the release, there were many such jump highways. We call them superhighways, and
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive
they
active.
nerfed them in the interest of making things more interesting because you were 6 steps removed from pretty much everywhere. That was important, right?
Approaching
5
Stargate.
jumps and you were from Amar to Ulay, which was the super, like the old Jita. But this must be a holdover because you're thinking, okay, well, what's the distance in light years between that, right? I mean, why is that system, right? Well, there are other like incredible jumps in nullsec, right? Like some connections there. Let's see if I can bring up all lines. Yeah, all lines are there. So yeah, between right there's one. There's another one. That's to where's that Orville? Way out in Placid area. That's quite the jump.
Jumping.
I'm sure there's more if I looked real hard. But I'm just thinking, wouldn't that be interesting? It's like, what route would I take? What route will we all take from Jita to Amar? Because you have to travel through Himadar all the way to Amar, right? We'd extend that to... I'm sure we've all looked at all the new people have looked at it, right? Going, oh my god, I have to go 55 jumps. Me, I just open up Udema Scout and go through Amazon or Vicamia, but yeah, this is the safe DST route. Yeah, there's another one from Sarin Prime to Amar. There's a couple of them in Domain.
Autopilot jumping.
You're thinking, well, that is really odd. What if I say, what if there wasn't? What if I went avoid? What would happen?
Warping to Stargate. Warp drive active.
Give me a sec. I'd have to go through there, so it would be the same kind of thing. I go from how many jumps to 53 jumps. I'd go 7 more jumps. So there are other routes that are, not quite as long. And it almost seems petty to remove that, right? So it's like, that seems kind of silly. But yeah, it does seem a rather large and non-immersive, that's odd, right? Why would that be? I'm sure they don't have an official lore explanation of that. It was just out of convenience, and this is probably just a holdover, a grandfather thing in from the previous iteration of the highways, right? So yeah, just a random thought. I was like, oh, that's odd. Yeah. But yeah, it is quite interesting. Like, okay, so what if we, just take it to the extreme? What if we tried to eliminate all the really long, silly jumps, like that one? What if we went there?
Warp drive active.
Right, we still have to deal with that guy. And what if we went there? Okay. All right, we'd be still like the same amount of jumps. Which is weird. But it doesn't look as gross anymore, right? And it looks kind of really not very aesthetic. Let's try make it a little tiny bit more abstract. And it goes back and forth, back and forth.
Autopilot jumping.
Right. Now if I went, say, if I went if we're shorter, it'd be 42 jumps. So that's
Warping to
interesting.
Stargate.
Anyway, so
Warp drive active.
yeah, let's manage route, avoidance list, and AMI, of course, void. Other turns, void, 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 avoid. Not avoid, not avoid, not avoid,
Approaching Stargate.
not avoid. And 35 jumps, and then we go prefer safer. There we go. 43 jumps. Interesting.
Autopilot jumping.
Wait, what? Yeah, okay, we're back to where we were. I was just looking at it weird. It's quite a lot of jumps, isn't it? Oh,
Warping to
no.
Stargate.
But yeah,
Warp drive active.
it's weird, but at the same time, cutting it out isn't going to make the jumps explode by 100 jumps or something like that. It's not ridiculous. So it's conceivable you could get rid of it without losing too much. It just seems like really petty to get rid of it when
Approaching Stargate.
it's not going to lengthen or shorten the distance for very much. It's not going to make the map look any more understandable. You know, it'll make it look more circuitous.
Autopilot jumping.
Yeah, just a weird random aside. I just note. It does look odd, doesn't it? Anyways, whatever. It's not. To me, it's not unimmersive in the sense of, oh, this is totally game breaking. It's like, oh, this is odd. There's no explanation for it. There's no logical reason for it. I know, like my past self, totally remembers a time when that was felt totally normal, right? 5 jumps to pretty much anywhere, right? So it seems normalized to me, but to you guys it might seem a bit more non-immersive. Like it's just like this doesn't make sense game wise. What's going on? You know, it looks kind of silly, but at the same time, it's like on the scale of 1 to 10, it's probably definitely a 1, maybe even a 0. You know, it's like, oh, this is interesting, but it's not interfering in my gameplay.
Warp drive.
Unless I stare at it really hard, right? And you know, it's just a game. Well, rolling suspension of disbelief and all that. There's a lot of things we ignore, right? Anyways, have yourself a good one.